There's a path in Buddhism, quiet, deep, and impossibly courageous. It's not the path of renouncing the world to seek your own peace. It's the path of staying with an open heart, not because the world is easy to love, but because it isn't. This is the path of the Bodhisattva, one who sees suffering and chooses not to look away, one who hears the cries of the world and says, I will stay until every last being is free. But how do we do this without becoming exhausted? How do we love without losing ourselves? This is the tension, the sacred question, the heartbeat of today's reflection. The Bodhisattva is not a perfect being. They're not floating on a lotus above the mess of the world. They're in it, right here with us. They feel grief, they get frustrated, they know what it means to be betrayed, to feel the weight of injustice, to love people who are hurting so badly that they hurt others, but still they vow to stay. In Mahayana Buddhism, the Bodhisattva takes this vow. Beings are numberless, I vow to free them. Delusions are inexhaustible, I vow to transform them. Dharma gates are boundless, I vow to enter them. The Buddha way is unsurpassable, I vow to embody it. This is not a romantic promise, it's a lifetime of heartbreak, and also unspeakable beauty. Because when we choose this path, we start seeing people not as enemies or burdens or problems to fix, but as sacred reflections, each caught in the same dream of suffering as we are. We stop pushing people away, and we stop abandoning ourselves. We begin to walk with a deeper kind of presence. But here's the truth. There's a shadow side to compassion. Many of us, maybe you, maybe me, were taught that love means sacrifice, that if someone is hurting, we must shrink ourselves, abandon our needs, and hold their pain until they heal. But this is not compassion. This is self-betrayal wrapped in a spiritual bow, and it's exhausting. If you've ever stayed too long in a relationship out of guilt, if you've ever silenced your truth because you didn't want to hurt someone, if you've ever thought, if I were more evolved, I'd be able to take this pain, you're not alone. So many kind-hearted people believe that being spiritual means being endlessly available. But the Buddha never asked us to be doormats. He asked us to wake up, to see clearly, to act skillfully. And sometimes that means saying no. A boundary is not a wall, it's a bridge of truth. When we say, I can't continue this conversation while I'm being yelled at, we're not shutting love out. We're creating the conditions for real love to grow. When we step away from relationships that drain us, we're not being cruel. We're honoring both ourselves and the other. Because enabling someone's unconscious behavior is not compassion, it's complicity. The Bodhisattva doesn't rescue. They see clearly, they show up with presence, not codependence. And sometimes, presence means space. Here's something we don't talk about enough. You can be deeply spiritual and still feel exhausted. You can meditate every morning and still lose your temper. You can love someone and still need to walk away. The Bodhisattva path is not about being untouchable. It's about being touchable, vulnerable, human, raw, and still showing up with love. There's a story about Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva of compassion. It's said that he heard the suffering of the world and was so overwhelmed that his body shattered into 1,000 pieces. But then, something miraculous happened. From those broken pieces, light emerged. And the Buddha, Amitabha, gave him 1,000 arms to help all beings. This story isn't about being superhuman, it's about breaking open and discovering something deeper on the other side. Sometimes your compassion will crack you. Let it. Because that crack, that ache, is where wisdom begins. So how do we live this? How do we hold the Bodhisattva vow in the ordinary moments? Here are 3 practices. 1. Start with presence. When someone is suffering, don't rush to fix. Just be there. Listen with your whole heart. Often, that's enough. 2. Check your intention. Ask yourself, am I acting from guilt or from love? Real compassion has no resentment in it. If your giving is making you bitter, it's not pure, step back, breathe, reconnect. 3. Rest without shame. The Bodhisattva rests. They take care of their own mind and body because burnout helps no one. You don't need to be on all the time to be a loving presence. Even the sun sets. The Bodhisattva path is not about being nice. It's about being true. Sometimes truth is tender. Sometimes it roars like a lion. But always, it comes from love. To love without losing yourself means you hold space for others without absorbing their chaos. You show up with empathy without erasing your needs. You forgive people without inviting their harm back in. This is fierce compassion, the kind that protects what's sacred, including you. The Bodhisattva lives in the world, but is not of it. They walk through noise, but carry stillness. They face cruelty, but choose kindness. They see suffering, but do not drown in it. Why? Because their heart is rooted in something deeper, not in outcomes, not in the praise, not even in the hope that things will get better, but in the vow itself, in the quiet, steady rhythm of, I will stay, I will show up, I will love anyway. So today, if your heart feels heavy, if you're holding space for others and you're not sure how much more you can carry, remember, you're not alone. You are walking a sacred path. And every act of love, every breath of presence, every boundary you honor is part of something vast, ancient, and beautiful. This is the Bodhisattva's way, not because we are perfect, but because we choose again and again to keep our hearts open, even when it hurts, especially when it hurts. Thank you for sharing this moment of reflection with me. If today's message touched you, take a moment to sit quietly, hand over heart, and just breathe. We don't have to save the whole world. We just have to love where we are, stay kind, and keep walking with an open heart. And if no one's told you this lately, you don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to fix everyone's pain. Your presence, your quiet truth, your willingness to keep loving even through your own trembling, that's enough. That's more than enough. Sometimes being a bodhisattva means simply not turning away from your own heart, from the world, from this moment. So let this be your reminder. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to draw boundaries, and you're allowed to shine softly in your own way without burning yourself out. If you found something healing in today's reflection, I invite you to gently subscribe or share this with someone whose heart may need it too. Not out of pressure, but out of love. Because the more of us who walk this path, awake, compassionate, honest, the more the world begins to heal. Quietly, patiently, one breath at a time. Until next time, may your days be peaceful, your heart be kind, and your spirit stay rooted in the stillness beneath all things. Take care. Sound of soft wind chimes fading.